it ahead in transition. Nice Euro step.
Now Jordan left wing. Alley-oop on the waist. Mitchell lobbed to the rim. Washington trickles out and throws it.
He'll take the three-pointer. That one drops in. What a big-time shot.
Welcome to the 2017 MAAC Basketball Championships on ESPN3. Tonight from the Times Union Center in downtown Albany, New York, it's a quarterfinal matchup between the two-time reigning regular season champion Monmouth Hawks and the 9th-seeded Niagara Purple Eagles. This will be Monmouth's first game here in Albany this week. Niagara got its first round win out of the way last night by taking out Quinnipiac 88-69. And welcome everybody to the Times Union Center. Doug Sherman along with Rob Kennedy. Got a little prop here. I love the MAAC basketball here. It's time for hoops. What do you think? We've got the one versus, well, the underdog here today.
Well, certainly for Monmouth, they're just excited to get started, right? They're the two-time defending regular season champ. They came here to Albany last year with one thing in mind, that's winning their way into the NCAA tournament. Didn't happen. They lost a heartbreaker in the championship game by 3 to Iona, and then they had to wait for a week to see if they were going to get selected with an at-large bid. Had a great resume, didn't happen last year. They don't want to be waiting around for a week this year. They want to try and take care of business here in Albany this weekend.
Okay, our I Love New York key players. If Monmouth is to get by Niagara, they've got to deal with Matt Scott.
Well, Matt Scott is a terrific scorer, a guy that can score in a lot of different ways. He's a good three-point shooter, but his ability to get by guys, finish with either hand around the rim, is one of the reasons why he ended up being a third-team All-MAAC selection for the second consecutive year. You got to guard him for three, but it's his other skills that make him go. The one skill that absolutely separates Justin Robinson from everybody else is his quickness. Quick release, great range, and his ability to break ankles, get space, and knock down shots. He is the two-time MAAC Player of the Year. Only 4 guys in history have done that. Justin Robinson capping off his tremendous career here at Monmouth in style, trying to do it for one last time here in Albany to get to the NCAA tournament. The only thing he's not been able to accomplish as a Monmouth Hawk.
And Rob, they are tonight's I Love New York key players. New York State, it's all here, it's only here. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by BSN Sports. Chris Barton coming off a terrific first-round game in the backcourt with Khalil Dukes, the aforementioned Matt Scott. Marvin Prochet back into the starting lineup for the Purple Eagles, and Maurice Taylor off a 16-rebound performance. Let's see how much energy he's got in his legs on the quick turnaround. Monmouth, meanwhile, Josh James gets the start with Micah Seaborn, first-team All-Conference. Jalon Hornbeek, called by his coach the most talented player in the league, and then, of course, the two-time Player of the Year in the league, Justin Robinson. And, oh, by the way, one of the best rim protectors, solid offensive player as well in the post, Chris Brady. This Monmouth team has it all. They're deep on the bench as well. Chris Casey, the fourth-year head coach at Niagara, a 1986 graduate of Western Connecticut State. They come in with a record now of 10-22 overall after picking up the big win over Quinnipiac, 88-69 last night. In that game, they forced 19 turnovers, and they would certainly love to replicate that number here this evening against King Rice's Monmouth Hawks. King, for the second straight year, MAAC Coach of the Year, as announced earlier today here in Albany. And I know, Rob, you had an opportunity to talk to King right before the ball game, and you were there for the ceremony. He was very gracious because obviously John Dunn of St. Peter's received all sorts of consideration as well.
And he always is. He always defers and gives credit to his team and the players, as well as his administration did the same today. And also gave a nice shout out to John Dunn.
Plenty of reason to smile for that man. 48-year-old native of Binghamton, New York. That's a couple of hours to the south and west of here. We're in downtown Albany and set for the MAAC quarterfinals. Brady back taps to Robinson, and we are underway.
It'll be interesting, Doug. Robinson not shooting the ball well the last 2 games, just 1 of 12 from beyond the three-point line. That after being absolutely on fire for about a 3-week stretch where it looked like he never missed a three-point shot.
Right, where he was taking 8, 9, 10 three-pointers a game and making well over 50% of them.
And I mean, half of them were 30 feet, well beyond the NBA three-point line. He was absolutely in the zone there for about a 3-week stretch.
And the apex of that was here in this building, not on this floor, but a couple of weeks ago, he dropped 40 on Siena in a regular season game. Of course, this is Siena's home building, but for the MAAC tournament, they bring in a new floor and put all sorts of different signage up, so it has a little different feel. But the reality is, Justin Robinson, who grew up about an hour south of here, is very comfortable in this building.
And part of that 40 points were 8 three-point shots. And some of those were on the run, absolutely breathtaking three-point shot.
It was a brilliant performance. He and Siena's Marquise Wright going back and forth, both mano-a-mano, putting up new career highs. The Brady bucket makes it 2-0 Monmouth. Rebound number 1 for Taylor, misses on the putback. Rebound number 2 secured, but he's on the end line. And the ball goes to the Hawks.
Well, there's your answer. You said, I wonder how much he'll still have in his legs bouncing back after that terrific performance last night when he had a career-high 16 rebounds and really set the pace and really brought the energy for Niagara last night.
Dukes the steal from Robinson. Barton! Wow. Hornbeak from nowhere with a rejection. Seaborn tries to wrap it around, and Prochet stopped him. There's Robinson with a deflection. Ball comes to Seaborn. Well, on the last possession from Monmouth, we saw Robinson try to split a double team in transition and lose it. For the mere mortal, you would expect that. For him, you expect him to be able to get through every double team.
He splits, especially off those high ball screens. He splits the double as well as any guard in the country. He's so quick, he's low to the ground, and he's so fearless and strong with the basketball to get there. Look at this hustle, though, by Hornbeak coming out of nowhere. As you said, one of the more talented players in this league. I said the other night, you asked me, was there anybody you thought got snubbed on the all-conference selections? I said, without question, to me, it was Jalon Hornbeak. He would have been on my second team. He didn't make any of the first 3 teams.
And the next possible most snubbed players also in this game, Khalil Dukes, averaged over 15 per game for Niagara. There's Hornbeak with his first 2.
And all he's done is gone 9 straight games at double figures to finish the season, including a career-high 25 in their last regular season game with the win at Iona.
And there are 1,000 career points for Hornbeak. Now that combines his first 2 years as an Oklahoma Sooner. Remember, he was part of that huge recruiting class to Oklahoma that included National Player of the Year Buddy Hield. He was right there with him. They're still good friends. And now he's got 1,000 career points from both schools.
One thing King Rice said, he said, you know, some guys would be worried about getting snubbed. He said, Hornbeak said to him, don't worry about that. The only thing that matters is if we win up here this weekend. I could care less if I'm on an all-conference team.
Marvin Prochet, co-captain from Brooklyn, makes it 4-2. Foul on the rebound, and it goes against Brady.
Well, Brady carved out space. He didn't need to. He's just so much bigger than everybody else. He was going to get that offensive rebound without having to clear space.
I'm talking about Jalon Hornbeak. Asked Coach Rice last week about the possibilities for Hornbeak getting into Portsmouth. That's the first step of getting more eyeballs from the NBA on him. He said he absolutely should. Dukes on the pull-up.
And a good sign for Niagara. He struggled from the floor last night, was just 3 of 15, but got himself to the foul line, 11 of 12, one of the reasons why he ended up with 18.
Robinson turns it over for the second time. And actually, the shooting woes for Dukes from the floor extends back to the last couple of games of the regular season, much like Robinson, as he gets a quick breather 3 minutes in.
Yeah, he was in single digits the last 2 games of the season, and Chris Casey was worried that he only took 2 shots in the regular season finale against Fairfield. He said to me the other day, he said, I'd much rather him go 4 for 15 or 16. Well, he went 3 of 15, and they still won the game by 20 because he was being aggressive, and he got himself to the foul line.
Yeah, 5 steals as well last night for Dukes to kind of offset that 3 for 15 and only 1 for 6 from the arc. But don't ask Monmouth what Khalil Dukes is able to do, because he lit them up a couple of times, averaged 23.5 points in their 2 regular season meetings.
Yeah, including 27 in the first game, which was a close game up in Western New York, when he was 7 of 10 from beyond the three-point line.
Yeah, he's 10 for 16 combined in those 2 matchups. Scott on the pull-up, and the junior from Brooklyn on the board.
And he's got that terrific mid-range game that you don't see from a lot of guys.
He learned his game coming up in Bedford-Stuyvesant in Brooklyn. Micah Seaborn with the 3-point bucket. Well, if Justin Robinson gets off to a slow start, now he's one of the, I think it's fair to say now, Scott tries again from the same spot. It's fair to say Justin Robinson is now in the 3+ decades of MAAC basketball as Brady hammers it home. Robinson is one of the all-time greats. I mean, if you are one of only 4 to have won multiple Player of the Year awards, you are, if not on the Mount Rushmore, you're very close.
You're right there, and absolutely. And when you look at the other 3 guys who have done it, Lionel Simmons, who is the 3-time MAAC Player of the Year, Steve Burt, 2 times, and Luis Flores, all 3 of those guys played in the NBA.
Shot by Dukes makes our score 9-8. Brady fouled by Prochet, and again there was another illustration of what you're talking about, Rob. Brady at 6'10", 250 is just bigger than pretty much anybody Niagara can put out there.
And he set one heck of a screen to start off that possession.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best, while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with the focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Want to achieve more than you ever thought possible? At Canisius College, you can. A Canisius education is packed with extraordinary opportunities like top-level scientific research, global service experiences, and real-world connections. Want to intern at a Fortune 500 company? Want to get into the best medical and law schools? Want to be a champion for social justice? You can. Here.
I'm in there as Katie.
I'll call you later. Or, no, I won't. I'll text you because, what am I, your dad? Don't stay out too late.
Yeah, just text me.
Thank you. Get home safe. This must be what Antonio Brown feels like when he's dancing in the end zone.
Huh. This must be how Lucas felt when he finally got Katie's number.
Pepsi.
MAAC basketball is brought to you by Geico. I love New York. New York State. It's all here. It's only here. Visit iloveny.com. Life Storage. It's your life. Store it with care. And UHY, the leading choice for professional tax and business consulting services. UHY. Experience the next level of service. Well, there is the 2-time reigning MAAC Player of the Year, and as Rob was talking about before that last break, as Robinson appears to remain on the bench here coming out of this timeout. He has joined a pantheon in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference that is rarefied air. Steve Burt Sr. at Iona back-to-back in 83 and 84. Lionel Simmons back-to-back-to-back, and really should have won it 4 straight years. They didn't give it to him his freshman season, but clearly was the best player. And then Luis Flores of Manhattan, those marvelous Bobby Gonzalez teams in the early aughts. And then Justin Robinson the last couple of years. And really his 3-year run has been as good as we've seen in decades.
Yeah, he's been a first-team All-MAAC selection each of his last 3 years. It was interesting. King Rice deciding to take him out. Justin Robinson with 2 turnovers in the early going, got a shot blocked. I think King Rice was fearing maybe he was a little too amped up and just wanted to settle him down. Remember, this isn't about winning 1 game here. It's about winning 3 games.
And King Rice is as clued in as any coach about the emotions players have. He was never ACC Player of the Year, but keep in mind, last week Monmouth held its senior night ceremonies as James, the senior guard from Newburgh, knocks the ball out of bounds. It'll stay at this end. King Rice remembered his senior day when North Carolina back in '91 hosted Duke. They had the ceremony before the game. He, Rick Fox, and Pete Chilcutt got so emotional that they were awful that night. So he thought, hey, let's have senior day after the game so we don't run that risk. King said that was the first time he'd ever seen his father cry. And for the next 2 hours, he just couldn't pull it together properly. Shot clock violation. So he understands Justin Robinson, what he's going through here. Hey, settle it down. Take a deep breath. Yep. You know what everybody's saying about you. You know you're the best player out here. Just let it come to you.
And talking to King Rice, this is their second time in this position, right? And I think having gone through it last year, they were really tight last year. As soon as they got up here to the MAAC tournament, you could see it. And it wasn't just the players. King Rice was tight.
Yeah.
I said to him, talking to him before the game today, he was so much looser. He was looser at the postseason award ceremony. I think he's much more comfortable with where his team is right now. And I thought he said it great. He said, look, we're the best team, so now we just got to go play like it for a couple of days. And let's see what happens.
Mo Taylor with the putback, 12-10 Monmouth. And one of the other differences about last year's team and this year's team is, I'll give you an illustration. Joe Lenardi just about 20 minutes ago sent out his email. He sends emails all day long. And Brady connects again. He's got 5. And within his bracketology report, the very latest report, Lenardi says, quote, none of tonight's conference tourney #1 seeds, Monmouth, Belmont, or Winthrop, are legitimate at-larges if they lose.
If they lose. Because a loss to Niagara would certainly hurt their RPI. Right now, the Hawks sit at 44. And 44 with your RPI in years past would have certainly put you in bubble consideration. But this year, we've got new metrics coming in. They've won 16 in a row. You see second longest streak in the country behind the Catamounts of Vermont. Princeton, third on that list, the team that Monmouth beat earlier this season.
But this year the metrics are being a little used a little different by the NCAA, and so the RPI is being de-emphasized and will further be de-emphasized as Dukes has to fire it up going forward. So that's one of the reasons why this year's Monmouth team is not being talked about in the vein that we were accustomed to last year when the league came here for the tournament.
Well, they had all those really impressive wins last year, and it didn't matter. At the end of the day, they were on the wrong side. Certainly would have been one of the last teams out of the NCAA tournament. And as we said, King Rice doesn't want to have to wait around for a week and watch the rest of the conference tournaments and hope that nobody steals a bid.
And I do think that makes it easier for Monmouth this year because they are singularly focused on winning 3 games. There's no safety net that they felt they had last year. So here's the resume. The BPI rank is hurting them, clearly, 77, and that is an ESPN metric that is being used and weighed more and more as the years go on, and the RPI is being used less and less.
Yeah, and they don't have those eye-popping signature wins that they had last year when they had wins on the road against USC and UCLA and Notre Dame on a neutral floor.
Seaborn and air ball. Diego Quinn into the game. Has it knocked off his leg and out of bounds. Back to Niagara.
So far this year, their best win is against that Princeton team that we saw on the graphic. Princeton in today's RPI, 54. Memphis had dropped down to 116. Iona to 119. There was a point in time where there was a chance they might have 3 top 100 wins, but Memphis with a couple of losses has gone from in the high 90s into the 110s, and Iona was on the verge of top 100, and they've fallen on the other side.
Larkin off the pull-up, and that evens the score at 14. So based on what Joe Lenardi said, exactly word for word just minutes ago, do you still think the door is ajar that if Monmouth wins the quarterfinal game tonight, wins the semi, and then loses a close championship on Monday, that they might have done enough work, that if everything breaks properly outside of Albany at the other leagues, they could get to that real bubble?
I think so. I think they will be a team in the conversation because you look at all the other bubble teams, they've got flawed resumes as well. You've got all these teams from, the Power 5 conferences that are 2 or 3 games above 500 overall and are below 500 inside of their league. I think if they get all the way to the championship game and don't end up winning it, that they will come back into the conversation.
By the way, Princeton has already won today, beating Harvard 73-69. So the Tigers continue to set the pace and stay unbeaten in Ivy League regular season play as they get ready to go to the Palestra to try and win the bid into the NCAA tournament. First time ever the regular season champ from the Ivy hasn't gotten to punch his ticket.
Everybody's talking about how great that's going to be at the Palestra.
Not
everybody. No, not Mitch Henderson. They're 13-0. A big favorite to go 14-0 as they've got Dartmouth in their last game. To go 14-0, and now you're going to have to go to the Palestra. And there's a good chance if Penn wins out, you're going to end up having to play Penn in the first round on their home floor.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah.
Dominic Robb has come off the bench tonight for Niagara. Misfires and a rebounding foul. He goes against Colin Stewart of the Monmouth Hawks. Tight ball game to start as the number 9 seed is pushing the regular season champs from Monmouth.
What's up, Case? Chris, last night you guys had real good energy, really carried you in the second half. How do you like your energy so far tonight?
I like our energy. I think we're playing hard. I think defensively we've done some good things. They're really tough offensively. They got a bunch of guys on the floor that can score the ball. So as long as we're keeping pace right now offensively and then we keep grinding defensively, hang around, it's going to help us.
And you've been able to bottle up Justin Robinson so far. How are you going to be able to continue that?
I don't know if you bottle him up. He's, I think we just got to continually be aware of him in transition, in the half court, and do the best we can to make his looks tough.
Thanks, Chris.
You got it, Rob.
(15-14) Monmouth with the early 1-point lead. Let's hear from Purple Eagles head coach Chris Casey.
Chris, last night you guys had real good energy, really carried you in the second half. How do you like your energy so far tonight?
I like our energy. I think we're playing hard. I think defensively we've done some good things. They're really tough offensively. They got a bunch of guys on the floor that can score the ball. So as long as we're keeping pace right now offensively and then we keep grinding defensively, hang around, it's going to help us.
And you've been able to bottle up Justin Robinson so far. How are you going to be able to continue that?
I don't know if you bottle him up. He's, I think we just got to continually be aware of him in transition, in the half court, and do the best we can to make his looks tough.
Thanks, Chris.
You got it, Rob.
NCAA March Madness is headed back to Buffalo March 16th and 18th. You can be there to share the experience with your family and friends. Just visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets for ticket and hospitality options. And Rob, I saw the graphic we threw up there under Chris Casey about the fact that he was an assistant for a number of years at St. Peter's, and it got me to thinking he was on the 91 team as an assistant coach that won the title for Ted Fiore right here in this building, and then 4 years later in this building again for Roger Blind. And so he too has a lot of great memories here in this building, and you remember some of the names of those great St. Peter's teams. You had Marvin Andrews was the MVP in 91, and Randy Holmes in 95.
Yeah, the Lakewood High School connection, a couple of guys from down the Jersey Shore that certainly made the Peacocks proud.
So one game into the 2017 MAAC championship Coach Casey feeling good as his Purple Eagles are pushing Monmouth. And I liked his response to your question about bottling up Justin Robinson. He knows not to tug on Superman's cape or spit into the wind.
But you got to love his team's energy. How about 7 offensive rebounds already? Monmouth 6 of 10 from the floor. Niagara 7 for 19. They've got 9 more shot attempts than do the Hawks.
Well, Maurice Taylor already with 4 offensive rebounds, 1 defensive rebound. The long 3 by Stewart is no good, and Pierre Sars whistled for the foul. Good position inside for Kevin Larkin. First on Sars, 6th against the team. Taylor will go out. Prochet returns. Colin Stewart goes out after having missed 3. We get our first look as well at Sam Abizabe. We got a different lineup here. Hornbeek and Tillman, named earlier today the 6th man of the year on the MAAC, out there, as well as Josh James for the Hawks. James Towns coming off a terrific performance, 14 points against Quinnipiac in only 13 minutes last night. His first shot attempt is no good, but it's tipped back in by Prochet.
Another offensive rebound. The Hawks have not done a good job utilizing their size on the backboard.
Here's Abizabe, up and over the league's dominant shot blocker for 2.
And Abizabe, a guy that played just 1 minute last time out against Iona, hasn't played many minutes coming down the stretch, averages just a little over 1 point per game.
And he's a wonderful young man. His words are he wants to inspire others. That's what he's looking to do with his life. He says he is blessed by the American way of life. This young man who grew up in Nigeria, but played his high school basketball at the Masters School in Simsbury, Connecticut. He says, my dream is to travel around the world and be an instrument for peace wherever I can. How about that?
That's pretty impressive. That's even more impressive than the nice jump hook he had right there.
He is the big man on campus, not so much for the fact that he's on the basketball team, just his sheer will and personality.
Niagara into the zone. Obviously, you got to shade and find Justin Robinson and Hornbeek.
Tillman off the feed from Robinson, and Robb is called for the foul. Well, Dominic Robb played only 15 minutes in last night's game and being used off the bench here tonight by Chris Casey. In that time, he had 3 turnovers, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 3 fouls. And again, you can get good Dominic Robb and you can get foul-prone Dominic Robb.
And when he's good, he blocks shots. He's 1 shy of setting the all-time Niagara season record, but he's been within striking distance for a while. His minutes have been shrunken here coming down the stretch because he has been foul-prone.
Tillman, the junior from Wilmington, Delaware, able to make it a 3-point ball game. He'll check out. Micah Seaborn returns.
You can see the upper body strength of Tillman right there. Not surprising, he played football in high school, and he's got a little bit of that football tough guy mentality that he's able to translate onto the basketball court.
Hornbeek guarding Towns. Long range 3 by Gatling. This time Abizabe clears the defensive glass for the Hawks. Here comes Robinson. Hangs in the air. Robb may have gotten a piece.
If he didn't block it, he certainly bothered it.
Well, that one was blocked. Abizabe pinned it up against the glass, and then the foul goes against Hornbeek.
But Monmouth got all excited about the block shot and then didn't go get the loose basketball. Niagara has won just about every 50-50 ball here so far tonight. Prochet once again in the right place at the right time. An opportunity to convert from the foul line. So everybody's excited about the big-time block. Doesn't matter. You got to come up with the basketball.
Here's Prochet, the sophomore out of Long Island Lutheran High School. Lehigh. He's played in this building before with the state tournament up here, the Federation tournament. And that young man has certainly played in the area. Colin Stewart from about 25 minutes west of here in Glenville, New York. Went to McKeel Christian Academy. He's had some of his best games here against Siena throughout his 4-year career. And there's Stewart grabbing the miss from Prochet. Hornbeek thought about it. Robinson still looking for his first points, but no more. He's got 3.
And as we said, he's been struggling from 3 coming in. I think that's good for Justin Robinson because he's not going to struggle from 3 for very long.
Larkin. Long rebound, Rob. Another chance at the offensive end for the Purple Eagles.
Yeah, offensive rebounding is keeping the Purple Eagles in this ballgame.
Robinson knocked it away. Still plenty of time on the shot clock for Niagara. Towns resets. In the previous 7 games before last night, Towns had scored a total of 5 points. And then he goes for his 14. Stuff like that just always blows my mind. Nothing but net for Dominic Robb.
Oh, certainly he's bouncy around the rim, but he also can step out and hit that 15-foot face-up jump shot.
Here goes Robinson.
Yep, and once he gets going, boy, it is hard to keep him under wraps.
Well, that time he did it against James Towns. Chris Barton did a terrific job defensively in last night's quarterfinals, helping to hold Quinnipiac's Mikey Dixon, the Rookie of the Year, in check. And after the game, he said, now I want Robinson. Well,
yeah.
Careful what you wish for.
You got that right.
Crochet. Another open look from the baseline, and another Purple Eagle big knocks it down.
And their bigs have been able to step out onto the perimeter a little bit. Monmouth's bigs have not been able to go guard outside.
James crosses over Gatling. One and done for Monmouth. Purple Eagles down 3 with the basketball. Crochet shoots over Stewart.
That's a tough shot. But look what they do. They've been so much quicker to those loose balls.
Gatling with an air ball. But don't look now. The 5'8" senior from Lake Katrine, New York, Justin Robinson, starting to heat things up.
And when he gets going, he is hard to handle. It all starts with his quickness. Hawks out to the 3-point lead.
So, Mr. Harris, we have your fingerprints on the safe, a photo of you opening the safe, a post using the hashtag #JustRobbedTheSafe. So, what are we supposed to think?
Switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance.
Excellent point. Case dismissed.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
There's one state that has more ski mountains to choose from than any other in the country. And that's not the only thing you can only find in New York State. You can find it all, only in New York. New York is all here. It's only here. Plan your winter getaway at iloveny.com.
Well, the MAAC has teamed up with Sport Changes Life to send 2 scholars to the Victory Scholarship Program. Scholars receive the opportunity to play and coach their favorite sport while earning a master's degree at one of 4 universities in Ireland. Head to sportchangeslife.com for more information and becoming a Victory Scholar. And those young people who we saw just before the graphic are from Ireland, and they are part of the exchange program here, enjoying the MAAC tournament here this week, and it's become a great relationship between Rich Enser, the commissioner of the MAAC, and the folks over in Ireland.
And a relationship that continues to grow. Earlier today, the Hall of Fame and the MAAC announcing a 4-team tournament to be played over in Ireland every year. Manhattan College will be the MAAC representative next year in a tournament over in Belfast in early December.
You going to go?
I'll take that assignment.
I was going to say, right up your alley. I would think you'd have a great time. So would I.
Absolutely. Steve Masiello was at the press conference earlier today announcing that.
As I mentioned last night, one of the players who you might be familiar with if you follow MAAC basketball, who's already participating in that program going the other way, is former Siena Saint Ryan Oliver, who is overworking on his master's degree right now. Seaborn misses the 3. Niagara with it, with a chance to tie the regular season champs. Dominic Robb kicks it back out to Matt Scott, and he equals the score, 24-piece.
And that's the easiest 3-point shot in basketball. Play inside out, stepping straight on into that 3-point shot.
I'll tell you, while Niagara has dipped a bit with its three-point shooting late in the regular season, they have still seen a marked improvement from a year ago as Towns picks up the foul. Robinson drawing it before the shot. Last year, Niagara was 347th in the country out of 351 teams in three-point percentage at 28%. This year, with Matt Scott as part of it, they've slipped to 5th in the MAAC, but still 37% as a team. And for Coach Casey, those are numbers you can win with.
Absolutely. Scott keeps Giannis at 38%. And the biggest jump has been the shooting of Khalil Dukes. He's at 42%, sixth best in the MAAC. And the Purple Eagles, Doug, are just absolutely owning the backcourts. They've got 13 offensive rebounds here in the first half to just 1 for Monmouth.
Scott off the mark that time. Here comes Robinson, quick pass. Into the ball game, Louis Polari, and the walk-on from the Jersey Shore puts Monmouth back in front.
He won't be a walk-on for long. He's expected to get a scholarship next year. Took full advantage of his red shirt last year and has improved his game. A guy that's going to see more and more time next year.
Yeah, and that was the idea when he showed up on campus, as Towns misses, that he's not your average walk-on. He had other opportunities, and the idea was coming into the year he was going to get a lot of minutes, and that has proven true. Just like that, in a blink of the eye, Robinson makes it a 6-point ball game.
Yeah, he hit the 1-3, and he made the play to make the other 3. Just so quick in transition, and as Chris Casey said, you can't lose sight of him. You go behind the high ball screen, that's all he needs. He's got such a quick release. He's got great range. He is so hard to guard all over the floor, but especially in space in transition.
So, Rob, you pointed it out earlier that the 3 previous multiple MAAC players of the year over the years, Steve Birch Sr., Lionel Simmons, and Luis Flores all went on to play in the NBA. What do you think about Mr. Robinson? He's going to potentially get drafted, more likely wind up in the summer league and get into somebody's camp. Do you think next year we might see him with these gaudy scoring numbers that you see that he's put up and all the other things of his game? Do you think he will find a place at some point, maybe even sooner than later in the NBA?
Here's what I'd say. I wouldn't bet against him. I don't think so. I think with his size, maybe it's a little bit difficult. But that's what everybody thought. Remember, he had 1 Division I scholarship, and it wasn't until late in the spring. He's playing at the Spring Jam Fest, and all of a sudden, King Rice had the opportunity to see him play. Nobody else was recruiting him. He was the only Division I scholarship offer that Justin Robinson ended up getting. Think a few coaches want to rethink that one?
Well, Binghamton was giving him some love. There's a pass from Robinson. Brady lays it down. It's an 8-point run for Monmouth.
And it's really an individual 8-0 run for Justin Robinson.
Dukes gets those 2 back. I'll throw this one out at you. So as we're talking about great MAAC players and undersized great MAAC players, Keidron Clark scored over 3,000 points in his career for St. Peter's and couldn't get a whiff of the NBA. Are there any parallels to be made there, or are there games different enough that you think Robinson's going to have a better chance to play at the next level?
Well, it's hard to say that he might be quicker than Kiki was. I mean, Kiki Clark was as quick as you'd find, but I think Justin Robinson may be quicker than Kiki. Kiki, though, I think was a better outside shooter.
Okay.
And certainly Kiki has had a terrific career overseas at the highest levels overseas. It is just so darn hard to make it in the NBA. But as you said, he's going to have an opportunity. He's going to end up in somebody's camp. And if somebody values his quickness and how hard this guy works, who knows?
5 points off the bench for Louis Polari, 34-26.
And I asked him that exact question at the post-season awards ceremony this morning, and he didn't hesitate at all. He said, yep, I think I've got the ability to play in the NBA. And I can't wait for that opportunity, but that's a long way off. Not worrying about any of that right now, just worrying about trying to win 3 games here.
Well, NBA scouts have been at most all Monmouth games the last couple of years, checking him out. Khalil Dukes, pull up from the foul line. Robinson's got numbers, perfectly timed pass, and Polari lays it in.
Robinson, after sitting on the bench for a little bit, settling down, has come back in and taken over the ballgame.
And seriously, if that pass had been a beat earlier or a beat later, it wouldn't have worked. But he got it to him just right, and that's 7 points for Polari. And not to take anything away from Polari or any of the other Monmouth players, you know what it's like when you're on the floor with a dominant point guard. Setting you up, it makes everybody better. Brady with the dunk. He's got 9 points, and Monmouth has opened up a double-figure lead.
And here's where, if you're Niagara, you got to settle down. This got to be a good offensive possession. Got to be a shot for Scott or Dukes.
This is Scott. And this is Dukes with 5 seconds to work with. Rob. And a rebounding foul. They got Taylor with the push. Well, it wasn't long ago that the game was tied at 24 apiece, but a quick 14-4 burst sparked by Justin Robinson, highlighted by Chris Brady, has the Hawks in control.
We see the world differently. Where some see challenge, we see opportunity. We use the lessons of the past to drive our vision of the future. We are a global gateway, a classroom and laboratory, retreat and home. We stand up, step forward, and fight the good fight to prepare tomorrow's leaders and visionaries. We are a gale force that breaks down barriers to move the world.
Oh, yes, there you go. Little dribble drive.
Feel the intensity of NCAA March Madness.
That's a 3.
You've got to see it to believe it. The 2017 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship first and second rounds. March 16th and 18th at the Key Bank Center in Buffalo. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets for your seats today.
Fulfill your educational goals on a 22-acre private residential campus just minutes away from the world's economic, cultural, communications, and entertainment center, New York City. For more than 160 years, Manhattan College has promised a Lasallian Catholic education featuring 5 schools of study that challenge students to excel academically while providing career opportunities second to none. Find out what Manhattan College can promise your future.
This is the first of the quarterfinals to be played. 2 tonight, 2 tomorrow. And Monmouth has opened up a double-figure advantage over Niagara. And notice tomorrow's nightcap, Siena and Fairfield, has been picked up by ESPNU, so a larger audience getting a chance to see the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference and getting a chance to see a very dangerous Siena team that has 4 players, all with 1,000 career points. Fairfield has first-team all-conference Tyler Nelson. There's some Iona players waiting for their game to come. And Jordan Washington had a typically curious face. He was the one sitting up to the top and looked like he was having a good time. First team all conference. There he is. That's just about right. He doesn't know he's on camera right now. That's just him being him. So we'll get a chance to see the Gales take on the Ryder Bronx. And that'll be tomorrow at 7 o'clock. That'll precede the Fairfield-Siena game. We also saw in the local newspaper, the Times-Union, that owns the naming rights for this building, as Polari hits to Nico Clarith on Wednesday, I think it was. They reported that he turned his ankle in practice and has had it immobilized, and so not sure if he'll be able to play, but Siena has shown that while he was on a leave of absence earlier this year for 7 games, they're okay with him and they're okay without him.
But certainly they would like to have him because he can light it up offensively off the bench.
Barton is fouled by Robinson. Now, you mentioned part of the equation for the win over Quinnipiac for Niagara yesterday. Get to the free throw line. 26 of 31 as a team, and so here they go back to the line. Chris Barton, one of the better foul shooters at 80%. He scored 15 in the win over the Bobcats last night, and again, he played so well defensively. If you're Niagara, though, the spurt that we just saw from Monmouth in that 2-minute stretch where they just, boom, opened up a double-figure lead, how do you combat that if you're Niagara?
Well, you got to slow things down. They took a couple of quick shots for Chris Casey's team at the offensive end, and as soon as you do that, whether it's a bad shot, quick rebound and outlet or go, or turnover, they turn it into quick points on the other side. So that's the dilemma. You've played well, you think you're right there, and then bang. All of a sudden you go from a tie ball game to down 12, literally in the blink of an eye, because that's how quick Justin Robinson is.
Well, these two schools have been league rivals now for 4 years. Seaborn, no, since Monmouth joined the MAAC from the NEC, and since that time, Niagara has never beaten Monmouth. Polari defending Crochet. Ball comes out to Dukes. Clean look for Barton. And the MAAC's 6th man of the year. Dribbles into the front court. Austin Tillman off to Polari, who's feeling it. He's going to go back to the free throw line for a 3rd time.
Well, Polari has given him a lift off the bench. He's played well enough to earn more minutes as this first half has gone on from King Rice.
His career high was 13 in the rout of Fairfield back on January 22nd. He makes a free throw here. He's already to double figures.
And he played just a total of 7 minutes in their last 2 ball games combined, so he's probably thinking he wasn't going to see a whole lot of time up here in Albany. But he got in, hit a 3, then ran the floor. Justin Robinson found him a couple of times, and as you said, he's been feeling it, been aggressive, attacking. That's how you get yourself to the foul line.
Only 59% on the year and fairly limited free throws, but you get the sense here tonight he's got a pretty nice stroke.
Oh, he certainly does, and he's a deceptive athlete. Really gets off the floor. Played his high school basketball, one of the top high school programs in New Jersey, Christian Brothers Academy.
Larkin was the last to touch. So the ball goes to Monmouth. Has CBA produced other MAAC players who we would know that you can think of? CBA, again, down in New Jersey, not the one locally or the one in Syracuse, but I'm talking about years down the Jersey Shore. Any you can think of? Or they're just all high major players?
No. Well, a couple of guys at Monmouth, but that was before Monmouth came in to the MAAC. They were back in the NEC when Chris Kenny had a terrific career. Jason Crail. Certainly John Crotty at Virginia. They've had a number of guys. Mark Daldell at Villanova, Brian Lynch at Villanova.
Larkin puts up an air ball. Here comes Tillman. Yeah, don't mention the name John Crotty to anybody around here who roots for Siena. Played a wild game at the Great Alaska Shootout back in the early 90s, and let's just say that Crotty and Stiff got a couple of favorable calls when the game was on the line.
Well, Polari now with 12 here in the first half, closing in on his career high in just a limited time here in the first half.
Dukes and Brady gets the rebound. Certainly Monmouth over the last few minutes has cleaned things up on the defensive glass for them.
That's all it's taken. A little bit of cleanup on the defensive backboards has allowed them to get out in transition, and when they run, I'm not sure anybody in this league can keep up with them.
Yeah, speaking of
slow
runs,
them down, it could be a little bit different.
It's a 21-6 run. Niagara has taken 19 more shots than Monmouth here in the game, and yet they trail by 15. You do see some crazy numbers. 10th team foul. Tillman at the line. You mentioned he also played football in high school. That was at Archbishop Carroll High in Pennsylvania. He also attended the St. Andrews School in Delaware, and he gets the role. You know what feature film was shot at St. Andrews School in Delaware?
No, but I suspect you do.
If you're going to use that tone, I'm not going to tell you.
Well, just look over and see.
The Dead Poets Society.
Oh, there you go.
I bet you Mr. Tillman knows that piece of trivia. Swishes home the second. 3.5 seconds for the Purple Eagles. And Brian Dorsey just accepted a bounce pass, and he's the official. Got it from Chris Barton. And what is the St. Peter's College alumnus doing with that basketball right now?
He's just giving him a warning as a delay of game. He's saying, hey, don't give it back to me again because I don't want to have to tee you up.
And say Mr. Dorsey, he went to school at St. Peter's back when it was St. Peter's College. And he would not be officiating our second quarterfinal tonight because his alma mater is in the mix. Well, the regular season champs and their conference player of the year flexed their muscles over the final 10 minutes of that first half.
Now, certainly he got himself going offensively. And once they got out in space after they started rebounding the basketball, in a blink of an eye, this game went from tied to a 17-point halftime lead.
All Hawks as they head to the locker room leading the Purple Eagles. Niagara facing Jalon Hornby and a defense that's stiffened. Matt Scott and the boys trying to hang, but again, Justin Robinson and these Monmouth Hawks flying high at the moment. Our halftime show coming up.
Khalil, you guys were playing really well. It was a tie ball game, and then all of a sudden Monmouth went on a quick run. What happened there?
We was taking a lot of quick shots, and when you take quick shots, you let them get out in transition, which is what they wanted to do. So we got to do a better job of executing offense, getting better shots.
And you guys dominated the offensive glass early in that first half. You had good energy. You talked about it. You got to take better control of the basketball and slow them down a little bit. What else do you have to do in the second half?
Well, we got to take care of the ball. We got to guard the three-point line better, and we got to keep rebounding. I think if we win the glass, we'll have a good chance of winning down the stretch of the game.
All right, thanks, Khalil.
Thank you.
What's up, Chris?
How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good.
Looks good on a couple dunks in there.
Thank you.
A little bounce to your step today.
A little bit. Feel great today.
All right.
Chris, you guys got off to a slow start. They were beating you up on the backboards. How did you guys change that?
I mean, coaches told us to keep hitting the boards hard and rebounding. So, that's the one thing we had to change. He said everything else is fine, defensively and offensively. Just we have to crash the rebounds more and box out better.
And certainly at the beginning of the game, they had a game last night, so they're already playing. You guys you weren't tight. I saw you shoot around and stuff. You guys were loose. But do you think it took you guys a little while to get going?
I mean, yeah. Get all the jitters out first game. I mean, they played last night, so they got that all out last night. I mean, we've been sitting around for about 5 days. We played Sunday days, Friday. So, I mean, since all that got out first couple minutes, I think we're good to go.
All right, good luck here, Chris.
Thank you.
Believe it or not, this ball game was tied just a few minutes ago at 24 apiece, but in the blink of an eye, Monmouth opens up a 17-point lead here at the intermission. Let's hear from Niagara's junior point guard, Khalil Dukes.
Khalil, you guys were playing really well. It was a tie ball game, and then all of a sudden Monmouth went on a quick run. What happened there?
We was taking a lot of quick shots, and when you take quick shots, you let them get out in transition, which is what they wanted to do. So we got to do a better job of executing offense, getting better shots.
And you guys dominated the offensive glass early in that first half. You had good energy. You talked about it. You got to take better control of the basketball and slow them down a little bit. What else do you have to do in the second half?
Well, we got to take care of the ball. We got to guard the three-point line better, and we got to keep rebounding. I think if we win the glass, we'll have a good chance of winning down the stretch of the game.
All right, thanks, Khalil.
Thank you.
And so this is quarterfinal number 1 of the 2017 MAAC Championships. Coming up later tonight, St. Peter's, the 2 seed, will face Canisius. And again, the way the brackets are set up this year, the first and second place teams from the regular season, Monmouth and St. Peter's, are granted a day off between the quarterfinals and semifinals as an advantage. So if they get through the quarters, both the Hawks and the Peacocks will allow for an extra 24 hours before they've got to play their semifinal games on Sunday. Tomorrow night, mark your calendar, ESPNU will pick up the Siena-Fairfield game. That's the nightcap of our quarterfinal doubleheader for tomorrow night. The first game will have the Iona Gales take on the Ryder Broncs. We're halfway through quarterfinal 1. The regular season champs from Monmouth comfortably in front by 17.
You must do the thing you think you cannot do.
The mind is everything. What you think, you become.
It is not best that we should all think alike.
He who learns but does not think is lost.
The main purpose of life is to live rightly, think rightly, act rightly.
Oh, the things you could think up if only you try.
There's Katie.
I'll call you later. Or, no, I won't. I'll text you because, what am I, your dad? Don't stay out too late.
Yeah, just text me.
Thank you. Get home safe. This must be what Antonio Brown feels like when he's dancing in the end zone.
Huh. This must be how Lucas felt when he finally got Katie's number.
Pepsi. Carve your own path or prepare for the next surge in your career at Monmouth University. Located along New Jersey's coastline, this beautiful campus is just 1 hour from New York and Philadelphia. Monmouth University offers a welcoming and dynamic setting for student development, innovative academic programs, nationally ranked Division I sports, and renowned faculty make this private university a great place to find your future. Take root, make waves, and become a part of something bigger. See the difference at monmouth.edu.
Oh, that's lovely. So graceful. The corkscrew spin, flawless. His signature move, the Flying Dutchman. Poetry in motion.
And there it is, the baby bird.
Breathtaking.
A sumo wrestler figure skating? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Heather saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Oh, yes. There you go. Little dribble drive.
Feel the intensity of NCAA March Madness.
That's a 3.
You've got to see it to believe it. The 2017 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship first and second rounds. March 16th and 18th at the Key Bank Center in Buffalo. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets for your seats today.
It's halftime of our first MAAC quarterfinal between top-seeded Monmouth and Niagara. And now let's take a look at what was announced earlier today, the 2017 MAAC Men's Basketball Player of the Year.
The candidates for MAAC Men's Player of the Year. Tyler Nelson, Fairfield University. Nelson, a 6'3" junior guard from Bradford, Massachusetts, was named to the All-MAAC first team after finishing second in the MAAC with 18.9 points per game. He ranks first in the MAAC with 36 minutes played per game. Nelson also ranked third in the conference with an 86.3 free throw percentage and 2.4 made three-point field goals per game. The junior also ranked ninth in the MAAC with 3.5 assists per game. Justin Robinson, Monmouth University. Robinson, a 5'8" junior guard from Lake Katrine, New York, makes the All-MAAC first team for the third year in a row. The reigning MAAC Player of the Year ranked first in the conference with 19.9 points per game and third with 4.8 assists. Robinson made 2.7 three-pointers per game, which was third best in the MAAC. His 1.5 steals was fourth best in the MAAC. He also posted an 85.2 free throw percentage, which was fifth best in the conference from the charity stripe. Micah Seaborn, Monmouth University. Seaborn, a 6'5" redshirt sophomore guard from Fort Worth, Texas, co-anchored the Hawks backcourt with Robinson. The reigning MAAC Rookie of the Year finished 6th in the MAAC with an 82.8 free throw percentage and 13th in the MAAC with 2.0 made three-pointers per game. His 13.5 points per game ranked first amongst his sophomore class. Jordan Washington, Iona College. Washington, a 6'8" senior forward from Jamaica, New York in the league. His 2.1 offensive rebounds a game were 9th best in the conference. Welton averaged 28 minutes per game. University.
And congratulations to all 5 finalists, but most especially to Justin Robinson, who becomes just the 4th repeat MAAC Player of the Year following Steve Burt Sr. back in the early mid-'80s at Iona. Of course, the great Lionel Simmons, 3 straight years at LaSalle in 88, 89, and 90, and Luis Flores of Manhattan won the MAAC Player of the Year award twice in 03 and 04. Justin Robinson puts his name in that same pantheon. We'll take another break and come back. It's halftime of this first men's quarterfinal at the Times Union Center in Albany between Monmouth and Niagara.
If you can play in the MAAC.
We pledge to respect everyone.
We pledge to support the LGBTQ athletes.
We pledge to create a safe and inclusive environment. If you can throw,
You can throw.
If you can shoot,
you can shoot.
If you can swim, you can swim.
If you can run.
You can run.
For everyone at Canisius,
Fairfield,
Iona,
Manhattan, Marist,
Monmouth,
Niagara,
Quinnipiac,
Ryder,
St. Peter's,
Siena.
If you can play in the MAAC.
At Niagara University, we believe that whatever you do, you should do it with all of your heart. That before you can fly, you need to be encouraged to spread your wings. That having a few great professors can make all the difference. That while pursuing a degree fit for the 21st century, you should learn a little about yourself too. And that feeling prepared can take you places you never thought you'd go. Are you ready to feel the power of Niagara University?
If you want to celebrate winter in a palace of ice, there's only one place to go. And that's not the only thing you can only find in New York State. You can find it all, only in New York. New York, it's all here, it's only here. Plan your winter getaway at iloveny.com.
I'm in there as Katie.
I'll call you later. Or, no, I won't. I'll text you because, what am I, your dad? Don't stay out too late.
Yeah, just text me.
Thank you. Get home safe. This must be what Antonio Brown feels like when he's dancing in the end zone.
Huh. This must be how Lucas felt when he finally got Katie's number.
Pepsi.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best, while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with the focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
At Quinnipiac University, learning has no boundaries. The world is our classroom. Learning is more than just seeing new places. It's experiencing cultures, exploring professions, and making friends. It's exchanging ideas and pursuing your passions, here and there. Take a seat in our world-sized classroom. How far you go is up to you.
Back at the Times Union Center in downtown Albany, our first men's quarterfinal has Monmouth up 17 at the intermission over Niagara. And welcome back, Doug Sherman with Rob Kennedy, and it was tied at 24 apiece, but then in the blink of an eye, Justin Robinson seemed to find his flow and everybody else played their role.
And it was just that quick. I mean, he got out in transition, knocked down a three when he hit behind a high ball screen. Then he got himself out, found his teammates. Louis Polari coming in off the bench with the career-high 14, and it went from tied to down 17. literally in the blink of an eye.
And let's show you how it happened. Really, Niagara came out with great energy, playing a second game in less than 24 hours. They had good feel to this ball game at the start.
Oh, they came in feeling good. They scored 59 in the second half in that win over Quinnipiac. And they had that energy to start off with it, especially on the offensive glass. They had 14 offensive rebounds in that first half, and that was what kept them in the ballgame. As you said, it was tied at 24 because of the efforts on the offensive glass from Prochet and other guys. But then all of a sudden, you're feeling good. It's 24 all, and I asked Chris Casey, how do you keep Justin Robinson under wraps? He said, I'm not sure you can. He was right about that one, because when Robinson got out and was able to lead the break, they dominated points on the fast break, 12-0. As we said, Louis Polari with the career-high 14 in that first half. Justin Robinson, yeah, he can score it, no question about that, but he can dominate the game in other ways. So it wasn't just his three-point shooting, but his ability to find his teammates. 3 assists in that first half, and once he got going, the Hawks got going.
Yeah, he had 2 early turnovers and then really played well after that. Chris Brady also part of that. He's in double figures. There's the biggest finish right there from the 6'10" senior.
And as you said, he's an underrated player. He certainly could have been a guy. He doesn't have great numbers, but he certainly could have been the guy that found himself onto a third-team All-MAAC selection, because he's a rim protector, rebounds the basketball, and he can finish. He runs the floor. Now, he couldn't do that as a freshman or sophomore. Mama's shooting it at 58%. How about if you're Niagara, Doug? You get 19 more field goal attempts than your opponent.
Wow.
You have 14 offensive rebounds, just 4 turnovers, but you're down by 17.
And a walk-on comes off the bench from Monmouth and scores a career-high 14 points in only 7 minutes.
Yep, and that's the depth of this Monmouth team. One of the reasons why they dominated the regular season, and one of the reasons why they're the unquestioned favorite coming into things up here in Albany.
Those stats brought to you by I Love New York, New York State. It's all here. It's only here. Native New Yorker from Kingston High School, Justin Robinson, doing work here in Albany. 47-30. Back with the second half right after this. .47-30, Monmouth up 17. Let's hear from their senior center from Green Lawn, New York, Chris Brady.
Chris, you guys got off to a slow start. They were beating you up on the backboards. How did you guys change that?
I mean, coaches told us to keep hitting the boards hard and rebounding. So, that's the one thing we had to change. He said everything else is fine, defensively and offensively. Just go out to crash the rebounds more and box out better.
And certainly at the beginning of the game, they had a game last night, so they're already playing. You guys you weren't tight. I saw you shoot around and stuff. You guys were loose, but do you think it took you guys a little while to get going?
I mean, yeah. Get like all the jitters out first game. I mean, they played last night, so they got that all out last night. I mean, we've been sitting around for about 5 days. We played Sunday, days, Friday. So, I mean, since all that got out first couple minutes, I think we're good to go.
All right, good luck here, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, with them good to go, we go. Monmouth riding a 16-game winning streak. They haven't lost a game since all the way back on January 2nd. It's the second longest current winning streak in the country. And as easy as that, one of the men who was scoreless in the first half, Josh James, makes it a 19-point game.
Well, they've got such depth, and that's one of the things that separates them from everybody else in the league. One of just 3 teams in the country that have had 6 different guys score 20 or more points in a game this season.
Prochet. Scott has it poked away by Hornbeek, who's out ahead of the pack with Dukes to beat. And he does it. 6 for the senior from Arlington, Texas. He brings a toughness to this team that it might not otherwise have. And again, keep in mind, Hornbeek wound up transferring from Oklahoma as Dukes, the USC transfer, connects. Hornbeek really transferred to Monmouth to be with his good friend Micah Seaborn, who had chosen Monmouth. Here's Seaborn off the right side of the rim, and Seaborn wound up sitting out his freshman year. They had played prep school ball together and youth basketball together, and he wanted his older buddy to come join him on the Jersey Shore, and it's worked out beautifully.
Yeah, King Rice, sometimes recruiting, you work, you do everything. It just takes somebody with a friendship with another guy. You think back to the Fab Five at Michigan, how they all recruited each other. However they get there, doesn't matter.
And everybody's got a story. From the Justin Robinson, who didn't have any other Division I scholarship offers, to the guys from Grace Prep, halfway across the country finding their way to West Long Branch, New Jersey. Here's one of them. If he had bounced it, that pass might have gotten by Rob. Instead, it's a turnover.
Exactly. When you're in traffic, especially in the lane, put the ball to the floor. Bounce pass gets there.
And there was a good bounce pass from Barton to get it into Rob with the left hand up and over Brady.
And that's one of the things he's got to continue to work on, because if he can become a consistent low post scorer for this team, then they get some better balance offensively.
Brady answers at the other end. So 2 of the 3 best shot blockers in the league going at it up and over the other.
And that's exactly what we were talking about, what Rob has to develop. Early on in his career, Chris Brady, there was no chance he's making that play. But he's worked on his game. He's gotten better each and every year. One of the most improved players in this league from the time he started as a freshman. Rob, a guy that really didn't score it very much as a freshman, has stepped up his scoring a little bit here as a sophomore.
After the Rob bucket, James gets Monmouth's lead back to 19. Rob, 6 quick points for him. Brady called for the foul. Heard the slap from here.
It all broke down for the Hawks defensively in the 2-3 zone when they allowed the ball into the high post so easily. Nice bounce pass from Scott once he got it into the high post. That's why you put it to the floor, so it gets through that traffic.
The young man from North Catholic High School in Pittsburgh misses. Diego Quinn just into the game. And we've got a foul against Quinn. The size on this Monmouth team is again impressive. We saw Bizabe in the first half, every bit of 6'11", 245 coming in. Diego Quinn off the bench, 6'9", 255, backing up Chris Brady, 6'10", 250. So there are 3 legit high major size post players that if you're the Hawks, you can go any which way.
And remember, Zach Tillman sitting out a redshirt year this year. He'll be a senior next year at every bit of 6'10 or 6'11.
Yeah, he's listed at 6'10", 280. And he actually and Brady still work out very closely together. I've been at games where the two of them are at one end of the floor hours before the game, getting their work in between the two of them. And they were recruits together. Tillman is redshirting because had some family matters to take care of, has a newborn daughter in Philadelphia. Also lost his father last year, and so he, along with the coaching staff, decided just to take the year to make sure he's focused on those things as well as academics. And presumably he'll get more minutes next year where he's not sharing the post with Brady. Scott knocks it away, gets it back from Dukes. And the chase down block by Hornbeek, his second of the night. Dukes takes it right back. And Micah Seaborn is in a lot of pain down in the backcourt. You can see the left knee has a brace on it already.
He injured that knee at the beginning of February in a game against St. Peter's.
Named earlier this week, first team all-conference. But the redshirt sophomore from Fort Worth, Texas, seems to be down and out. King Rice has just come over now to join the trainer.
Certainly, as we said, he hurt that knee against St. Peter's. Prior to that, he had 12 consecutive games in double figures. Struggled coming down the stretch, just scoring in double figures 2 out of their last 8 games. Really wasn't the same player.
No, and
didn't have that same pop to his step. Yep. And so we'll have to see. This is, if you're a Monmouth fan, this is one thing you don't want to see.
And there's another illustration of how he has not been himself lately. His steals numbers have gone down. He was among the league leaders through the first couple of months of the season. And initially, his good friends Hornbeek and James were going to pick him up, but he's going to try and put a little weight on that leg. The leading sophomore scorer in the league, averaging 13.5 points per game.
You can see, obviously, he's in pain. Difficult for him to put pressure on that leg. Now he's going to pick him up and get him over to the bench.
And Tillman and Abizabe, a couple of the bigs on the bench, helping him get over there. So now you hear the voice of Rick Callahan, the veteran assistant coach at Monmouth. He recognizes here, yeah, we're up 17, but we've got to refocus because we can't allow this injury to such a key player distract what we're looking to do here tonight and here this weekend.
It's only human nature for guys to all of a sudden get your shoulders down. You start worrying about your teammate, rightfully so.
Yep. Barton, strong finish and a chance for 3. Second personal foul against Stewart and the 5th against Monmouth. We'll take a break. First media time out of the second half. Hawks up 15, but they've just suffered a big loss.
So, Mr. Harris, we have your fingerprints on the safe, a photo of you opening the safe, a post using the hashtag #JustRobbedTheSafe. So, what are we supposed to think?
Switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance.
Excellent point. Case dismissed.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Oh, yes. There you go. Little dribble drive.
Feel the intensity of NCAA March Madness.
That's a 3.
You've got to see it to believe it. The 2017 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship first and second rounds. March 16th and 18th at the Key Bank Center in Buffalo. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets for your seats today.
There is Katie.
I'll call you later. Or, no, I won't. I'll text you because, what am I, your dad? Don't stay out too late.
Yeah, just text me.
Thank you. Get home safe. This must be what Antonio Brown feels like when he's dancing in the end zone.
Huh. This must be how Lucas felt when he finally got Katie's number.
Pepsi.
Alongside former Monmouth assistant coach Rob Kennedy, I'm Doug Sherman. 55-40 Monmouth with the 15-point lead, but again, the air has come out of their sails a little bit here, at least for the moment, with the injury suffered by Micah Seaborn. Not sure what it is yet, but he was carried back to the locker room. That's the nature of athletics, and King Rice knows it. Next man up, and got to deal with it.
Yep, and it's always hard in the middle of the game when something like that happens. And you know, they're so focused on coming here, winning a championship, trying to win 3 games, and then all of a sudden you lose your second first-team all-conference guy back into the trainer's room. It's only, as we said, human nature for everybody to kind of get down for a second, but then you got to rally, and they certainly have the depth to be able to run different guys into the ball game. They've got the most depth by far of any team in the league.
Yeah, no doubt. Robinson, Tillman, James, Quinn, and Sarr, the 5 on the floor for the regular season champs, the #1 seed here at the MAAC tournament. 10 seconds to shoot. Robinson with it, guarded by Barton, who said he wanted him defensively today. Quinn off the assist from Robinson.
Robinson with a good find against the zone, and then a better finish inside by Quinn as he just muscled through contact.
Sophomore from New York City with his first 2 points, makes it 57-40. Rob the high ball screen for Dukes. Sarr had that rebound bounce off him, but the last to touch was Prochet, so the Hawks with it. You know, by the way, you've got Pierre Sarr. We were talking about the depth along the front line, and Sarr is not as thick as the other guys, but he's still 6'8", 195.
Yeah, and he could score. He had a career-high 16 in the first meeting against Niagara up in western New York.
And he and Sam Abizabe have forged a real nice friendship. There's Sarr off the bounce on the reverse.
And he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to see a dramatic increase in his scoring and rebounding output next year. He'll end up passing some guys who put up way bigger numbers in their freshman, sophomore year.
Right, because this tremendous senior class that Monmouth's going to be losing, there are going to be a lot of shots and opportunities for people like Micah Seaborn next year. Pierre Sarr, Austin Tillman, this year's 6th man of the year in the league, probably a starter and one of the key players for next year.
Here's the athleticism and length of Sarr. He's able to go to the other side of the rim quite easily.
I mean, to me, that's a high major move right there.
Well, he is a high major athlete. Coming out of Roselle Catholic, one of the top high school programs, not only in New Jersey, but in the country. So many great high school programs in New Jersey. Certainly think of St. Anthony's and all the great players that Bob Hurley has. This year, St. Patrick's School, the favorite heading into the New Jersey State Championships.
Tillman missed it. Here comes Dukes back the other way, up to Scott. Skip pass to find Prochet, spotting up. Barton was the last to touch, and so it's Monmouth basketball. King Rice and his staff have done a nice job of taking advantage of what they have. We talk about the fertile recruiting ground. The state of New Jersey in football and in basketball have produced lots and lots of talent, but the facilities they have at Monmouth and their location to the Jersey Shore, just about a mile from the Atlantic Ocean. And right from the moment when Monmouth and Quinnipiac were granted membership into the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, you just knew that this Monmouth program had that ability to take off like it has. Dukes in and out. Sarr grabs the miss. Nice job by Dukes to recognize Sarr was going to throw that outlet pass. Slow down Monmouth there. Barton and Robb go out. Gatling and Taylor return for the Purple Eagles. Diego Quinn has taken a seat for Monmouth. And oh, by the way, Mustafa Traore, 6'8" redshirt freshman from Philly, into the game for the Hawks. Another 6'8" athlete. Getting a couple of minutes here. There he is after the rebound. But Niagara will have it. Purple Eagles, Rob, have gone stone cold, now missing their last 7 shots.
Well, that's the thing. They've not been able to convert from beyond the three-point line. Just 1 of 9 from deep. Hanging this ball game, they've got to start making some of those outside shots.
And again this year, they have shot the basketball well, both from distance and at the free throw line. Dukes around and out. Taylor had it, knocked out of bounds. Niagara will keep.
Now, Monmouth had been doing a better job on the defensive glass for about the last 10 minutes, but all of a sudden, too many opportunities the last couple of possessions.
Larkin with the runner. Another chance for an offensive rebound. Taylor kept it alive, and Traore knocked it out, and so Niagara still has the basketball.
Yeah, they're 0 for 3 from the floor on this possession, but they're going to get another opportunity. See if they can't go 1 for 4 because of the good effort on the offensive glass.
Well, that's been the story of the game as much as anything. 19 more first half shots taken by Niagara, yet they were trailing at the break by 17 points.
And you would think with all the size and athleticism on the front court for Monmouth that they'd be the team dominating on the backboard.
Traore could have been called for a foul there, I think. They call it a block shot. Tillman missed the dunk. Dukes goes around Sarr, runs into Traore. Taylor cleaning it up. No. Just one after another. Dukes finally gets it to fall.
They've got 6 offensive rebounds in the last 2 possessions. Problem is they've only got 2 points out of it. And then you finally score, and as soon as the ball goes in that guy's hands, he's right up your back, putting pressure on the defense on the break.
You can see the co-captain, Justin Robinson, trying to rally his team. And even though they are up 61-42, he wants excellence. Back to Albany in a moment.
Coach, obviously Micah went down, and it's human nature for all of a sudden some of your guys start looking at each other. You guys right away got up and got after guys to try and fight through that. How is your team responding?
Well, I think the guys, we got an older group, and when someone gets hurt or goes down, the next guy has to be ready. See, when we're talking in our huddle right now, I can hear Ricky over there. You want minutes all year. All year. I got all these kids that have been begging for minutes, and now you get a chance, and we're not ready for our minutes. And we got to – that's why I've been saying we'll be a full, hard team to beat when I get my bench playing to their capabilities.
And the one thing you guys haven't been able to do is rebound the basketball. They're still beating you up on the offensive glass. What do you need to do to change that?
We have to box out. Now guys are coming to the bench talking about, they're over my back. No, you're getting a chance, and you're getting out tough on the boards, and we'll look at the film and see what we can do if we get out of this game.
All right, thanks, King.
Thank you.
Monmouth up 19 despite the injury suffered a few minutes ago by Micah Seaborn. Let's go over to King Rice now with Rob Kennedy.
Coach, obviously Micah went down, and it's human nature for all of a sudden some of your guys start looking at each other. You guys right away got up and got after guys to try and fight through that. How is your team responding?
Well, I think the guys, we got an older group, and when someone gets hurt or goes down, the next guy has to be ready. See, when we're talking in our huddle right now, I can hear Ricky over there. You want minutes all year. All year. I got all these kids that have been begging for minutes, And now you get a chance, and we're not ready for our minutes. And we got to – that's why I've been saying we'll be a full, hard team to beat when I get my bench playing to their capabilities.
And the one thing you guys haven't been able to do is rebound the basketball. They're still beating you up on the offensive glass. What do you need to do to change that?
We have to box out. Now guys are coming to the bench talking about, they're over my back. No, you're getting a chance, and you're getting out toughed on the boards, and we'll look at the film and see what we can do if we get out of this game.
All right, thanks, King.
Thank you.
Quintessential King Rice right there. Love the reply to both of the questions, and that man right there is basically family to King Rice, and he's an extension of his coach. And after their 4 years together, he takes that message and puts it into reality and tries to make sure his younger teammates and even his classmates know what's going on.
And we saw as they went to that media timeout, he was grabbing everybody before they got into the huddle, saying, look, we're up by 19, but we got to start playing a little bit better. We've got to have some energy. When you look at those energy stats, 22 offensive rebounds for Niagara. I mean, that's hard to believe. 22 offensive rebounds. That's just lack of effort on the defensive backboards for a team that is, to be honest with you, they're too good, too big, too athletic to give up 22 offensive rebounds.
Niagara down by 20 with the basketball. Towns, a little change of speed, and just like last night, shows an ability to score the ball and get himself to the line.
Yeah, his first field goal of the ball game, and it was a tough one. In traffic against a much bigger defender. Able to take the high ball screen, and on the switch, he recognized that he had an advantage with the quickness, and Traore slapping down gives Towns an opportunity to finish off the three-point play.
Well, again, back to King's first response to your question. I just love that the coach is talking about, hey, you guys are begging me for minutes all year. I put you in there and you're not ready to play.
And I'll tell you what, early on in the season, it was almost a problem for the Hawks trying to get minutes for all these good players that deserve some minutes. Once they got a little bit deeper into the season, they started trimming some of those minutes. And that's when they really started humming.
Robinson now with 14 points. Taylor. Offensive foul. He has a size and strength advantage in that matchup, but Polari stood his ground, and that's the fourth foul on Taylor.
I moved his feet. Chris Casey didn't like the call, and I don't blame him.
And so Taylor goes out. Rob comes back in. King Rice spent 10 years as an assistant coach under Kevin Stallings, now the head coach at Pittsburgh, but he was with Coach Stallings 5 years at Illinois State, 5 years at Vanderbilt. That was sandwiched around a couple of years at Providence under Tim Welsh, who we just saw in a graphic a moment ago. Another block shot by Rob, and so what he has just done is equal the all-time single-season Niagara record that has stood since 1988 by a gentleman with the name Mark Henry.
And hopefully the statistician got that one, because clearly it was a block by Rob.
Yep. The most underreported statistic in basketball.
I agree.
Traore traveled. Back to that stat about King Rice becoming just the third coach in league history to win back-to-back MAAC Coach of the Year awards. I love the fact that Speedy Morris had that honor first. King is the most recent, and then one of his former bosses, King's former head coach Tim Welsh at Providence, the other, during one of the many great eras in Iona basketball history. And so the Coach of the Year takes out the Player of the Year. Monmouth up 65-45. And Micah Seaborn, as we are told, we look over and we'll show you him in a second, is on crutches now coming out of the locker room. I'm guessing regardless of the injury, he said, I want to get back out there with my teammates for the rest of this game. But there's the ice pack on the left knee.
And so this is one of the advantages of the new format that we have starting last year, where you're not having to play 3 games in 3 days. You've got an opportunity with a day's rest. Who knows? Maybe Seaborn can get back on the floor.
Well, if Monmouth advances to the semifinal round, they will get the winner of tomorrow's quarterfinal game between Siena and Fairfield, and that semi would be 4:30 on Sunday, so less than 48 hours from now, but still better than the usual quick turnaround in a tournament format.
And I really like the new format because it gives the number 1 and number 2 seeds an advantage. There's no way to deny that. And I think anytime you can reward a regular season champ or somebody that finishes in the top 2, I really like it. They tried it a few years ago when they gave them the double bye. And then all of a sudden, the top seed was getting knocked off because other teams had a game under their belt. So they got away from that. I think this is a good hybrid tournament format that I think works.
And you talk to all 11 coaches all the time, and they, as a group, can find things to complain about from time to time. What's the general feel about the format that we have now?
I think, again, guys like the fact that you reward the teams that play they have 20 regular season games the last couple of years. Next year it'll go down to 18 with the new format as well. But you got to reward somebody for playing the best in those 20 games. It can't just be about what seed you're going to get.
Yeah, and my sense from those guys is that they like it as well. And we've seen, back in the Bobby Gonzalez Manhattan years where they got a double bye all the way to the semifinal round, and the way it was set up, it seemed with Luis Flores on the team to make it too easy for them. So it was too much of an advantage for the regular season champ. And so this, at least right now, seems to be a good blend. It's not too much, it's not too little. You're not punishing the teams 3 through 11 too much, but you're definitely giving an advantage to 1 and 2.
Yep, and that's why I like it as kind of a hybrid.
Yeah. Josh James got the first at the line, and the Archbishop Stepanak graduate gets a pair. He'll be replaced by Jalon Hornby. Trayer goes for the foul, but what he gets instead, or for the steal, instead he gets the foul.
Dominic Robb with his second double-double against these Monmouth Hawks. In the first meeting had 11 rebounds to go along with 11 points, and he's got a double-double again here tonight. So he's been active against the bigs.
And he's another one we talk about. It seems like most games who was very much under-recruited out of high school, and Chris Casey and his staff wound up finding him. And look what you have. You've got a guy who was a real impact player for Niagara.
And a guy who's gotten better from his freshman year to his sophomore year. And you can see with the glimpses of how he's played on the offensive end here tonight, he's got the ability to make another jump or two in his next couple of years, especially at the offensive end.
Stewart airballs it.
And he has struggled all season long against Niagara. Just hasn't shot the ball as well as Colin Stewart is capable of.
Here comes Tillman around Towns. Doesn't miss that one.
Hard to stop him when he's got a head of steam.
First made field goal for Tillman, who gets it back, dumps it off. Polari with an aerial act. He's got 16 points.
They've got depth that nobody else can match in this league. And when you've got a guy that's played just 7 minutes over the last 2 games, steps up and has a career-high 16 in the first round of a tournament game, they've got lots of options.
Scoring well more than a minute per game here tonight. Here's Polari nearly coming up with the steal. No change of possession, so Barton lets fly and connects.
And finally, a made 3-point field goal for Niagara.
Hornbeek with the rescreen, dumps it off on the pick and roll. Over to Tillman. Good looking set for the Hawks.
And Tillman had plenty of time to tee that up. Doesn't take a whole lot of threes. Just his 10th made three-point field goal of this season, but he shoots it at over 43%.
And give the assist, Rob, to Traore. Nice job to handle that pass in traffic and get the pass over to the shooter. Towns, good shot fake. Boy, he's aggressive.
Oh, man. He just went flying into Traore right there.
Towns is listed at 5'10", 162, but he goes in there with no fear whatsoever. Pilari. Scott, extra pass to the corner, Barton. 6 minutes to go.
And you see the lack of confidence right there by Stewart. On that kick out, he's usually stepping right in and letting it fly, but he's just not feeling it from deep as of late.
King Rice's club looking for its 17th win in a row and a spot in the MAAC semis, 5:43 away.
If you want to celebrate winter in a palace of ice, there's only one place to go. And that's not the only thing you can only find in New York State. You can find it all, only in New York. New York, it's all here, it's only here. Plan your winter getaway at iloveny.com.
We are St. Peter's University, a place where students who are eager to learn are taught by people who care, on a campus designed for both to thrive. We're proud to offer incredible learning opportunities and life-changing experiences, and that means our students are prepared to succeed in their fields, in their communities, and all over the world. Get to know St. Peter's University, the Jesuit University of New Jersey.
That is Monmouth superfan Erica Schaefer. She's an 11-year-old from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. And Rob, she wrote letters to all 30 NBA general managers, hoping to help her favorite Hawk, Justin Robinson, land a job in the league. Each letter she wrote was personalized. The fifth grader at Nellie Bennett Elementary School, she has received multiple replies from NBA GMs, including Jeff Bauer, the Detroit Pistons, who probably was familiar with the MAAC Player of the Year because, of course, Jeff Bauer a couple of years ago was the head coach at Marist, and just a wonderful story. And she and Justin have become close friends over the course of the last 4 years, and she and her dad, you saw in that picture, they are season ticket holders and wind up getting to Monmouth games wherever and whenever they can.
And Asbury Park Press had a great story about it. Justin Robinson has been so gracious. Had a terrific video that he made for Erica. It's the kind of agent you need, right? You need somebody out there fighting for you, working hard for you. Good job, Erica.
Well, you remember what it was like to be 11 years old and in the peak of your fandom, you know? Who was your favorite?
Fanatic.
Who was your favorite player when you were that age?
Clyde Frazier.
Clyde the Glide.
Yep. No question about that. Had my Pumas, had everything going.
And with
whatever Clyde did, that's what I was looking to do.
Now, with your
I didn't have the fur, though, nor the fedora. I cut the line right there.
Well, with your family business, did you have the opportunity to meet Clyde?
Yep, one time.
One time.
Yep.
And it went well, I assume, I hope?
Yes, it did.
Well, that's good.
Yep, it did.
Well, you didn't get the friendship that young Erica has been able to have blossom with Justin, but we all remember what it was like. Johnny Bench was my guy. Baseball, Cincinnati Red.
You and your Reds.
I remember all too well.
much like me and my Knicks.
We can commiserate later.
Oh, sloppy pass by Sarr.
Hornbeek went for the steal. Barton able to keep possession.
Hornbeek has been active on the defensive side.
Yeah. There he is closing out on the Duke's triple. As I mentioned earlier, King Rice is the one who told me earlier this season that Hornbeek brings, a toughness that this team might not otherwise have. And I'm guessing in a situation like this with Micah Seaborn down, you know, he told you, King did during the timeout, in the interview you did with him, you know, we're getting out tough here tonight as Traore blocks the shot. I'm guessing this would be an opportunity for Hornbeek to further set the tone.
Yeah, Hornbeek, Tillman, and Justin Robinson are the three guys that give them their toughness. But every once in a while, you need that toughness inside.
Yeah.
And that's where they've needed tonight when they've gotten beat up on the offensive boards.
Joe Lunardi has these Monmouth Hawks as a 13 seed, as the automatic qualifier out of the MAAC if the season were to end tonight.
Although I did notice on his worksheet today that it was a 12 seed, but in the bracket itself, it was still the 13 seed.
Pierre Sarr for three. Yeah, Joey Brackets is hard at work. He is pumping out information hourly.
It does not stop. But what it does is it really gives you a minute-by-minute, day-by-day look at all the numbers that the selection committee will end up crunching over the next week or so.
And it's funny, you know, Joe Lunardi does radio for St. Joe's, his alma mater. When he's getting on an airplane at this time of year, he lets us know, I'm going to be out of contact for 4 hours. You're going to have to make do without Joey Brackets for the time being.
We are MAAC. Student athletes from MAAC schools meet 3 times a year
to discuss NCAA legislation,
share our school's best practices,
and make a difference
by volunteering in the community.
At the MAAC, our voices are heard.
Though we compete against each other,
we are united,
working towards the common goal of enhancing the student-athlete experience.
We are
MAAC.
Oh, that's lovely. So graceful. The corkscrew spin, flawless. His signature move, the Flying Dutchman. Poetry in motion.
And there it is, the baby bird.
Breathtaking.
A sumo wrestler figure skating? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Heather saved by switching to Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Back in Albany, 79-55. Monmouth closing in on a spot in the MAAC semifinals Sunday. Time now to take a look at our Life Storage dunk of the game. It's your life. Store it with care. And the big fella had a couple of dunks in that first half. Chris Brady, this was the better of the two. So it's our Life Storage slam dunk of the game. Congratulations to Mr. Brady. Does he get anything with that? Does he get any insurance or anything?
Get a storage locker?
Looks like Mr. Brady is done for the evening. And would you think at this point, yep, I get the answer to my own question as I see the cousin of Louis Polari, Dan Polari, another walk-on getting into the ball game. And so King Rice feels comfortable with this 24-point lead and going to rest the guys and begin that rest that, again, they get about a 44-hour turnaround until their semifinal matchup against either Siena or Fairfield.
Pretty much couldn't have scripted it any better, except for the fact that Seaborn went out with the injury. You get an opportunity to rest all of your starters for the last 3-4 minutes of the ball game. Comfortable lead. Get some other guys some minutes because you may need them to step on the floor and provide you some spark off the bench as the tournament moves on.
Well, this is Dan Polari, who was one of the 2 ringleaders of the bench mob last year, which organically went away this season. Diego Quinn misfires. Getting an opportunity to play the last 3 minutes. And don't think for a second this isn't important to Dan Polari. He's still looking for his first 3-point bucket of the year. He's 0 for 7. And if his teammates are worth their weight here, they'll try and find him for an open look. Another reverse by Sarr on the move.
Yeah, nice finish off the nice feed from Polari.
So the Polari Cousins out front on the 2-3 Monmouth zone. Out there with Quinn, Sarr, and Abizabe. That's Abizabe who deflected that pass out of bounds. Monmouth has cooled off shooting the basketball in the second half, but their defense is more than made up for it. Niagara has never really gotten it going. And really, it was, let's see, at about the 6.5-minute mark of that first half when the game just changed. So the first 13 minutes, Niagara was going toe-to-toe with Monmouth, and since that time, they just haven't been able to buy a shot.
No, they've gotten plenty of them. They just haven't made them. They've got 29 more field goal attempts. Yet they're down by 25.
Quinn gets tripped.
That's one of the things with this Monmouth team. You know, everybody thinks about their offense, rightfully so. They average 81 a game. They lead the MAAC in that category, but they also lead the MAAC in field goal percentage defense. And so when you've got that combination, they're third in the MAAC in scoring defense, but field goal percentage defense, King Rice's team leads the way.
And, you know, they go with their own form of the pack line defense that a couple of years ago, King Rice reached out to Tony Bennett in Virginia and said, I'd like your help. And this is what goes on in the coaching world. And so Tony got one of his former assistants from Washington State to get together with King and his staff, and they are still in contact. I saw that assistant coach at a Monmouth shoot-around a couple of weeks ago, and it has certainly paid dividends.
And it's changed how they play defensively. They used to gamble so much more. They'd get spread out. You know, think about the Carolina way, right? And that's how King Rice played for 4 years under legendary Dean Smith, and then he was part of that coaching tree with Kevin Stallings for so long. But he decided, you know what, it wasn't working. We weren't winning games, and they changed how they played defensively, and they are so much better now with their version of the pack line.
Louis Polari, no. He leads all scorers with 16 points, new career high. Dan Polari is going to be called for the foul. That young man was on the Today Show. He got a tour of the Sports Center and ESPN studios in Bristol for all the fun that he was a part of last year in that bench mob. Going to finish his college experience next year with a lifetime's worth of memories and stories. You know, you wonder sometimes, why are you walking? Why do you go and get beat up in practice every day? You're not going to get many minutes. You get no glory whatsoever. He's the reason why so many of us would love to be in that position, and he was willing to put forth what you got to do to be there.
Yeah, no question. And it's first and foremost to be part of a team and because you love the game of basketball. If you're a walk-on, you're not doing it for any other reason but because you love it.
There he is searching the three.
Looking for that first three.
0 for 8 now.
He needs an open look. He's got to get his feet set. Those step backs are a lot harder to convert.
He's been in the game for a minute and a half, and his teammates weren't setting him up. He had to go get it himself. Here he goes again. And his teammates won't begrudge him at all if he forces a shot or 6 here. Sarr gets wrapped up by Dukes as he was just about to take off.
He was going to throw one down.
And so for Monmouth, all smiles on the bench right now for Justin Robinson. You know, he just glanced up at the Jumbotron and saw himself up there for a split second. We showed Tyrone Lewis, the wonderful Niagara player. I got a chance to talk. We showed Tyrone yesterday. And I talked to Tyrone before the game today, and I said, what were the players saying to you? He's like, they're just busting my chops and having a good time and wondering what they were saying about me. But he was thrilled because Tyrone's 1-year-old son, Tyrone Jr., who is a leap year baby, just celebrated his first birthday, is in the building again tonight, and he saw his dad up on the Jumbotron and got a kick out of that shot that we showed last night.
I said, don't worry, we were waxing poetic about how good you were.
10 years ago, he was the man in this tournament.
He certainly was. Oh,
Polari to Polari.
In stereo.
Now, does Dan say to Louis after the game, You blew my assist.
Absolutely. Perfect backdoor cut. Jeff Billett, his high school coach, would have liked that one.
Again,
just couldn't finish it.
Yeah, they were not high school teammates,
No, they
right?
were not. No. Dan went to Shore Regional High School where Louis was at CBA.
There we go.
His best Justin Robinson impersonation.
And he loses another potential assist.
I think Rob, though, may have gotten a block shot on that. Hopefully he got credit, and he stands alone in the Niagara record books for single-season blocks.
And on the flip side, there is the one senior on the Niagara roster, Maurice Taylor Jr. from Cambridge, Mass., watching the final 7 seconds of his college career. Well, we had a competitive first 13 minutes, but then the regular season champs, led by King Rice, really flexed their muscles and showed why they are the prohibitive favorite here this week.
And it was really their depth that was on display in this ball game. You know, certainly everybody turns to the player of the year, Justin Robinson. He played well. He was the guy that got them going. But it was other guys that stepped up and contributed. Chris Brady with double figures. Austin Tillman in double figures. And then a new career high from a guy that you weren't expecting from coming in, Luke Polari. That's the type of depth this Monmouth team has. One of the reasons why they're the favorite coming in.
So Monmouth extends the nation's second longest winning streak to 17 in a row. They are now 27-5 overall. Niagara's season comes to an end at 10-23. They go 1-1 in this year's MAAC tournament. And all things considered, I think the Purple Eagles can get on their bus here tonight and head back to Western New York, feeling pretty good about how they perform at the Times Union Center. Monmouth's work, though, is not done. They get tomorrow off and will play either Fairfield or Siena in the semifinals in 2 days here at the TU Center.
There's one state that has more ski mountains to choose from than any other in the country. And that's not the only thing you can only find in New York State. You can find it all, only in New York. New York, it's all here. It's only here. Plan your winter getaway at iloveny.com.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best, while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with the focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Oh, yes. There you go. Little dribble drive.
Feel the intensity of NCAA March Madness.
That's a three.
You've got to see it to believe it. The 2017 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship first and second rounds. March 16th and 18th at the Key Bank Center in Buffalo. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets for your seats today.
MAAC basketball is brought to you by Geico. I love New York. New York State. It's all here. It's only here. Visit iloveny.com. Life Storage. It's your life. Store it with care. And UHY, the leading choice for professional tax and business consulting services. UHY. Experience the next level of service. Monmouth 84, Niagara 59, our final score. The Hawks move on to the MAAC semifinals to be played Sunday here in Albany. Now we go over to Rob Kennedy with King Rice.
King, offensively, you guys were pretty good today, but I thought your defense was really key. You guys don't get enough credit for your defense. Why do you think that is?
Well, when you score the ball the way we can, I think people pay attention to that. But our kids have really, really bought into defense. It got better in the middle of the season, and now it's even gotten better at the end of the season, and that's a credit to these guys for the work they're putting in.
And one of the reasons why you were the regular season champ by a full 4 games is because of your depth. That depth was on display once here again today. How important is that, especially when you've got to play 3 games over 4 days?
I think that's so important, and I've been saying all along we had a lot of kids, and we got 13, 14 guys that can really play. And at halftime when I was walking in, I was like, who's the dumb coach that doesn't ever play Polari? And Louis been tremendous. You know, being from Jersey, how talented this kid is, and we have a lot of guys to get in the game. I'm so proud that he got a chance today to shine.
And not to put a downer on anything, any word about Micah Seaborn, who went out with that injury?
Haven't heard anything yet. Micah's dealing with, he had a meniscus tear, and he's done a good job, and our doctors and our trainer, Vanessa Sweeney, have done a great job keeping him able to get on the floor. So I'm hopeful, got my fingers crossed that he'll be able to come back on Sunday.
And certainly extra day rest got to help you, I would think.
Well, that's what the regular season is for. You fight 20-game season from against some great kids and some great coaching to have a chance to rest one day, and we earned that during the regular season. Hopefully it pays off this year.
All right, Coach was talking about Louis Polari. You had a new career high by the time we got to halftime. You really came out and were aggressive. What was your mindset?
I was just trying to help the team in any way I can and happened to get some open shots. I just tried to step up and knock them down and got the free throw on the line a little bit. So just got to thank my teammates for finding me when I'm open.
And you played just 7 minutes in the 2 games combined coming in, but yet when you got in, you were ready to go. What's that say about being prepared, not knowing how many minutes you're going to get?
I mean, just always trying to keep my head in the right place. Coach Rice always tells us stay ready. We got a lot of guys, so you never know when your chance is going to come. But, yeah, just really trying to keep my head in the right place, stay focused.
All right, congratulations. You get a day off and then right back at it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Monmouth survives and advances on to the MAAC semifinal rounds. And again, they'll play Siena or Fairfield. The Saints and the Stags will play tomorrow night, 9:30 on ESPNU, for the right to face Monmouth in the 4:30 semifinal Sunday. But we are not done here tonight. We've got one more quarterfinal to show you, and it's the number 2 seed from St. Peter's University in Jersey City, New Jersey. The Peacocks are coming onto the floor now, and they're going to get ready to face Canisius and try to do what Monmouth has just done. Once again, our final score, Monmouth 84, Niagara 59. Join us again tonight, 9:30 on ESPN3, when we bring you another quarterfinal matchup between second-seeded St. Peter's and number 7 Canisius. And be sure to join us all weekend to catch all the action of the 2017 MAAC Basketball Championships right here on the ESPN networks. For Rob Kennedy and our entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman saying so long for now from Albany, New York.